Well, good morning and welcome to our meditation this morning. I'm John Coriel, one of the spiritual practitioners here at the center. This morning I thought we might start off with a little reading and then maybe go into the silence. From this little book that I use quite often, Eileen Caddy is the person who wrote it. And it's over 40 years since she was the co-founder of the Findhorn community in Scotland and received personal guidance from a still small voice inside herself, a source that she calls the God within. So we take this as from that God within, which starts off by saying, why not relax? I think that's a good idea. Let go and let spirit take over. For more stress and strain there is in your life, the less you get done. Why not let yourself flow with nature, flow with the tide, and do what has to be done quite simply, naturally, and joyously? Why not enjoy life instead of going through it with a grim determination, forcing yourself to do this, that, and the other without any joy or love? Life is wonderful when you are in harmony with it and cease resisting anything. As they say, what we resist persists. Why not make everything complicated for yourself? Why make everything so complicated? Why not make today, I like this idea, a special day. Make this a special day and see the very best in everything. Give thanks for everything. Enjoy everything as it should be enjoyed. As Spirit says, I want you to enjoy life. Start off by seeing the beauty of nature all around you and what there is in nature, so much beauty there. You will, just finding it all around you, and you will find that wonderful thing will lead to the next until your whole life is one of wonderful enjoyment. Wonderful, wonderful words from Eileen Caddy. So as we take a few deep breaths and just relax into the good, that good Godness that is right there at the center of each of us, and almost makes me chuckle sometimes because it just feels so good. Feels so good. So as we take a few deep breaths, we just, on our own, each of us individually, turn to that wonderful silence within and rest in that for a few moments. wonderful to turn to that peaceful place within each one of us. And knowing that we can turn to it at any time, at any place that we find ourselves, and enjoy. As Eileen Caddy said, why not relax? Let go and let God, right here and right now. So as we bring ourselves back together into the room here and give thanks for this wonderful, peaceful meditation time together, we just are so pleased to enjoy it. How good it is. How good it is. So as we relax and let go, we just know that God is right here where we are. God is. Our celebration service will begin at 10:30 this morning, and we can remain here or out in the lobby and just enjoy this wonderful time. Thank you so much, and namaste.
That's always fun. That's always a nice delayed welcome. Good morning. Let's try that again. Good morning. Oh, there we go. There we go. Welcome to Centers for Spiritual Living Cape Coral. My name is Dawn Bauer. I'm a practitioner actually through Mile High Church in Lakewood. That's why this is purple. But I serve here as well. And let's just kick it off with the Big Love Band, because that's always much better than my voice.
All right. Good morning. We've got some fun chant songs this morning, so all of you are required to sing along this morning and be our backup singers. So stand up. Let's get warm because it's cold for some reason. And let's go, Sonny.
Get us shaking in the morning. Well, I don't think we're cold anymore. I'm not cold anymore. I just want to say, before we jump in here and go through the things that we always go through, let's just take a moment to recognize this weekend. Tomorrow, we're celebrating Martin Luther King Day and everything that he represented. And it really is in alignment with what we believe in, that we can have peace, that we can have love. So just taking a moment to recognize that this weekend. And for those of you that are new, wherever you are in your spiritual path, we want to know that you're always welcome here. We believe that we are co-creators with the divine and that you can change your life just by making different choices, by changing your, because we can choose. We can choose. And Ernest Holmes is the founder of our philosophy, and we teach universal truths, whether that's contemporary, traditional, all of those truths. You can find out more information on our website at cslcapecoral.org for upcoming events. We have classes going on. We have a great book club that just started on Monday here. We're going over Love is Letting Go of Fear. We're reading that book right now. It is amazing. So and Thursday I'm going to the Monday class, so that's why I was talking about that. That one's in person. Thursday's on Zoom. Thursday evening on Zoom. So I'm sure you can still get in on those. Those are wonderful. We can go to the next slide. All right, and I also just wanted to recognize John. Wow, what a beautiful meditation. I love, it's different when you're meditating alone and sitting in the silence alone. It feels different, doesn't it, when you're sitting in the silence with a group of people where two or more are gathered? It just has a stronger energy, and I was so grateful for John this morning for doing that. So John is one of our practitioners, and just knowing that he's sitting over there, he's not taking a nap. Well, he might take a nap, I don't know. But he is sitting in high watch, and whether he's napping or not, he is holding the highest and best for everyone in here, that this service is perfect today. All right, so let's hear it again from the Big Love Band.
All right, this is another fun one to sing along, written by our Ralph Leesburg, inspired by Linda. If you were here this morning and did the pray-in this morning, she actually, stated her 5G day, and it just sparked some life into Ralph, and we made this fun song. So if you haven't heard it before, please enjoy.
And I'm glad to say things are going my way. Well, I've been up and I've been down and I've been in between. I've been sad, but now I'm glad that I made the scene to the place that's made for me. And I want to say it's a great, grand, glorious. Good idea, 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 and I'm glad to say things are going my way. Take the call out. Yes, it's a great, grand, glorious. Good idea, it's a great, grand, glorious. Good idea, it's a great, grand, glorious. Good idea, and I'm glad to say things are going my way. Well, sometimes there's a cloudy sky, but I know the sun is still shining up there, and it will show when all those dark and gloomy clouds blow away. Make a great, grand, glorious. Good idea, it's a great, grand, glorious. Good idea, it's a great, grand, glorious. Good idea, it's a great, grand, glorious. Good idea, and I'm glad to say things are going my way. Yes, I'm glad to say things are going my way. Yeah.
Apparently that was a knee slapper.
And Ralph, you were just performing in downtown Fort Myers. What night was that? Thursday
That was
night?
Tuesday night.
Tuesday night. I can't even keep my.
You can watch him on YouTube.
And you can watch him on YouTube.
Cape Coral Center for Spiritual Living web Facebook page. I think Melissa posted some clips from that.
Oh, it was great. It was great. Their songwriters are up there and performing for everybody, and it was cold and wonderful. It was great. But everybody, thank you for staying standing and following the instructions on the screen as we bestow a blessing on each other. So if you're new here, we're warming up our hands. These are centers that we can be sending love to everybody. So just be thinking about that as we extend our hands to one another. And let's read this together. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living. We know who you truly are. You are the spiritual image and likeness of God. We appreciate you, we love you, and we are thankful you are here. Welcome to the center. And right back at the Big Love Band.
So this is a really, really pretty chant. It's the same words up on the screen, like kind of was the first one, but it's a good mellow to go into the message today.
God is, I am right here, right now, right here, right now. God is, I am. God is, I am right here, right now, right here, right now. God is, I am. God is, I am right here, right now, right here, right now. God is, I am. God is, I am right here, right now, right here, right now. God is, I am. God is, I am right here, right now, right here, right now. God is, I am.
So beautiful and just perfect to lead us right into our prayer and meditation time. I'd like to introduce you to Linda Lloyd, one of the practitioners here at CSL Cape Coral. Linda.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday. My name is Linda Lloyd, and I am one of the licensed practitioners here at Centers for Spiritual Living. And it is my great pleasure to give the reading, not the meditation, though. That was earlier. Yeah, that's fine. And our monthly theme is Root and Reboot. Our weekly topic title is The Universal Voice. And there's a little marketing teaser. Around the globe, there is one song playing, Universe, the song of life itself. Begin your day recognizing your connection to this one life, one love, and through this, hear yourself through the divine voices of all of those around you. It's a really great practice that I have come to, and I know some of you others probably do it too, but I highly recommend it. It's before you do anything in the morning, before you get your feet on the floor or anything, just try to remember the awareness that, wow, right where I am, right here, right now, God is. And I'm stepping out into this day that has all been perfectly aligned for each and every one of us. So our teaching tells us not only do we live in conscious awareness of law of cause and effect, that is, as we think, so we experience, but also in alignment, that preeminent truth that all is love. And today's reading is from our Science of Mind magazine, which we have, we keep out in the lobby. It's a wonderful thing. There's daily readings for every day of the month, little inspiration. Oh, and speaking of word of inspiration, one of my purposes that's come to me in meditation over the years is that I'm here. It's a big thing on my heart to be able to inspire others on their spiritual path. So I am so excited the day that the song, the 5G song showed up, because I've been saying that for a long time. At first it was just Great Grand Glorious, and then I realized when you put Good God Day on it, and then when all the 5G stuff came out, it's like, wow, that's a 5G day. So that's how that came into being. This is from on page 41, and the title is "We All Came from the One." And it begins with a quote from Ernest Holmes from The Science of Mind. The search for union passes into the realization not that we are just with or in, but that we are of God. One with or in implies separation. The great realization is that we are of that which is. We are some part of it. We begin at one point, not in time, but in consciousness as cells. Heart cells produce heart cells, brain cells produce and multiply more brain cells, and so on. Cantaloupe seeds produce cantaloupes, not broccoli. The heart cells know to reproduce more heart cells, and so on. We begin as a loving consciousness created from itself, each having its own variety, color, and size. Thank goodness, or wouldn't it be boring otherwise if we were all the same? Yet we are all from the same original loving God consciousness. We continue to be that loving consciousness, even though many of us are unaware. We may act in a non-loving way, not realizing who we really are or what we can experience. We might see others as separate from ourselves. When two dogs meet in a park, they will most likely sniff each other. I know my dog certainly does. But their tails keep wagging, and agreement, they play, dance together, and run circles around the park. Unfortunately, it may take humans a bit longer to recognize friend or foe, as we have a tendency to come from a place of judgment. It is time for a new realization. We have come from the same original, beautiful, perfect varieties. With acceptance of variation, there are new colors, tastes, sizes, and ideas. Let us accept all as the living presence of the one Creator. Let us be the kind, caring humans that we are meant to be. Yay. Let's do that. And let's take this into prayer. So if you're comfortable, close your outer eye. And let's just all take a nice, deep, unifying breath. So how very good it is to come together. And I'm just so grateful for this day, so grateful for Sunday in particular, and this celebration right here, right now. As I recognize there is only one thing going on, and that is love expanding, expressing more and more of itself in and as through each one here, in and as this service, and all things transpiring on this planet today and each and every day, knowing that it is one universal song playing always, always, always. And that each of every one of us are a unique note in that song, all very important, even those that are silenced, because the song could not be without the empty spaces in the notes in between. So I am just knowing that this day continues to unfold with that great, grand, gloriousness that began all life, and knowing that it continues to do that, and that all that we have to do is let go and let God, and just step out into this day, into this field of grace, knowing everything has been so beautifully prepared, down to every detail for us, when we just lean in and let go and let God. So I am so grateful as I release this word to the law, knowing it is already done in the heart and mind of God. So together we can just allow and let and anchor this with the words, and so it is. Thank you. And please let me welcome our new minister, Reverend Chris. And Reverend Chris is such a wonderful being, and I am so grateful that he finally landed here and that we have a new minister now. Isn't that amazing, everyone? We finally did it. So let's give him some great energy to step up into Reverend Chris.
Well, good morning, everybody. Thank you so much. I'm just filled with so much joy to get to be here with you again. I get this like 3 weeks in a row now. What a gift and a blessing it really is. You know, I've enjoyed when I used to come in the past, that it's just a great energy, a great vibe. Everybody is just filled with a little extra zest for life than, you know, most of the people that I meet out in the regular world outside these walls. So I have to give the thanks up because it's always just wonderful. So hello to everybody here. Hello to everybody online. Okay, I am always curious. I always, have this idea, like, who else thinks like I do, or thinks like I have, or thinks like I will? And so I'm curious, like, to know who else here has experienced the yabbits. The yabbits. Yeah. It usually, like, it used to happen for me about like this. Something good would come into my life, something that maybe I've been working on, I'm excited about, and then about 15, 20 seconds later, yeah, but, when's the other shoe gonna drop? Yeah, but, something's gonna come along and screw it all up. It was that internal voice. But we have two different internal voices. We have the internal song, or we have the voice. And that voice, whoever and however it gets planted and nurtured throughout the years, I think it, starts to happen sometimes when we're little. And it's by people with good intentions, quite often our parents, or maybe teachers, or a significant other along the way. And, their intention's good because they put this idea into us. It's out of the idea of self-preservation. They don't want to see us get hurt. They don't want to see us experience all the pains in the world that come. And so it kind of causes us to always be looking out for that thing that is going to get us. And so me personally, speaking for my own self, I had this idea all the time that when things good would happen, I never let myself fully enjoy it. Like I say, it was like 15, 20 seconds, and then that's about it. Now, this brings to mind, when we say, like, when clouds come into our lives, everything's kind of get, dark. There's an old saying that says, yeah, but every cloud has a silver lining. If you could find that silver lining. But what about if you're the opposite and you go by the yeah buts? And it made me think of a Grateful Dead song. Every silver lining has a touch of gray. Here's that silver lining, but I'm going to find what's wrong with it, and that's what I'm going to focus on. And the interesting thing is that voice that speaks to me, or used to speak to me that way, I didn't even know until about 12, 13 years ago when I really started getting into a spiritual practice, I didn't even know that I had a voice in my head. I went around all the time just waiting for that other shoe to drop, telling myself the things that would prevent me from putting myself out there. That I had this idea that it doesn't matter what I do, I can't go and get that better job because I don't have the credentials. I'm just kind of stuck here. And so I spent myself in this energy. The words and the feelings that we have, it creates the vibration. And then it begins this cycle that we get it repeated back to us. I talked a little bit about it as this month has been going on. We started in week 1 talking about the universal, whatever you call it, God, Spirit, the infinite, first cause, and how we are all part of that, just by definition. And then we talked last week about that we are, listening to the universal voice that the universe expresses through us, through all of creation in all these infinite ways. And then we started to just kind of dip our toes into that water of experiencing that as human beings, that we have evolved our consciousness and our minds to a point to where now we speak back into that universal mind. So now we're in this place where the thoughts that we have, the desires, the inspirations that they are creating are reality. That's what we're going to look at this week, is this internal song. So that voice, it can show up in a couple of different ways. But when we hear it and we get inspired, and it's something that leads us more to that love with that capital L, big love. We'll talk about that in a minute with MLK, because there is a quote where he knows what I'm talking about. He was tuned in. And then the other voice, that one that is there to protect us, that makes us kind of constrict and protect ourselves. But it makes us play small. And this yearly global theme for Centers for Spiritual Living is living out loud. And what that means is following our inspirations, being our authentic self, and being unafraid of putting that out there. Yeah, we will. The world is interesting, and we have our ups and downs. And so it's not a kind of a Pollyanna, what they call spiritual bypass, where we just say everything is good when it's not. But we still recognize that there is a silver lining. We do get through this when we draw upon that thing bigger than us. And that thing bigger than us speaks to us through that internal song, the beauty that shows up in our minds. Now, the word. Abracadabra. I don't know if anybody who here has seen the origin of this word. It's a word that they speak in magicians when they want to create magic. But it goes way back in time. It originally came from Hebrew and Aramaic. And abra means I will create, and then the cadabra is as it is spoken. So that word, when we say abracadabra, we're saying, as I speak, I create. And this is ancient. We see it, in the Bible. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. And then in Genesis, when God said, "Let there be light," and just like that, there was light. Jesus tells us the same thing, that ask and you shall receive, and that it is done unto you as you believe. So these are ancient concepts. And that's why I really admire Ernest Holmes, the creator of the science of mind, because he found teachings from all over and found the congruent parts of them. So this is something then that is powerful for us to tune into. Now, you know me, or getting to know me, I like the pragmatic, the practical. Like, why does this work? What is it, Yes, there's that mystical idea that I firmly, absolutely believe in, that our thoughts and our prayers has an energetic field throughout the infinite, collective consciousness of humanity, of the world, that what I think on some level connects with what other people think. And, we sense it, we talk about it when you say, you can pick up the vibes of that person. Or you could walk into that room and the energy was so thick you could cut it with a knife. At least for myself, I know that there's something to it. I've felt it, I've experienced it, and I know it. So there is that. But now the practical. When I was telling myself, I'm never going to get ahead, I'm never going to get that break, that was what was playing on in my head. That was, not the internal song, that was just that voice, the yeah buts. And when I would repeat that and live by that, that's the energy I was putting out. And so I'm walking around almost, as if I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. Maybe I've got a chip on my shoulder. People, if I have a pessimistic life or outlook that, things just kind of happen to me that aren't great, I'm looking for them to happen. And when you approach people, they sense it and feel it. And when you are there with that pessimistic outlook, it creates that reciprocal. And then you have the things that happen to you that validate that. And so it just creates this snowball that gets bigger and bigger. It's a feedback loop. And then that same thing, when I realized, holy cow, there's a voice in my head, and it's not very optimistic. And quickly, once I realized that and switched the self-talk that I had, everything in my life, I started to see different opportunities. I started to see how I feel optimistic and how I express that to other people, how I interact. And then I would receive back from that. People would appreciate that energy of just wanting to be my best. And then the opportunities expanded. When we see it, it doesn't matter where we are. If anybody's putting together a team or looking to create a project or just even looking for people to invite to their house for Friday night game night. When you're looking out at the people, who do I want to invite? It's the people that have that attitude that they are constantly using their words to uplift, using them to uplift themselves, and just by turn, it uplifts others. So we can see how just the thoughts that we have, that we continually tell ourselves, the affirmations, how that affects people around us, and it just creates more of that which we're putting out there, that life is truly a reflection of what we're feeling and what we are and what we put out. So then we start to recognize this power, and we start to tweak it with little affirmations. We use, affirmative prayer in the science of mind. But even just the way that we speak ourselves to ourselves, there's power in affirmations, and we say it in ways that is believable to us, that we are reminding ourselves that, I'm in this place, and maybe this isn't ideal, but instead of going down the pessimistic that I'm trapped here, I'm going to be here forever, I know that there is a power in this universe greater than me. Now that I know that, I'm going to draw on that. So no matter where I am, I'm looking for the opportunities, and I know that I'm going to get through this because I've gotten through it every time before. I'm ready to get through this more quickly. And when we ask with earnest, the universe shows up, and we start to feel that power. Now, it gets interesting as we start to do this work on ourselves. I love the idea of, and I talk about it all the time, the micro to the macro. The way we do our individual spiritual practices, our individual beliefs, it works the same way in larger numbers. As above, so below, all these different sayings that point to this idea that there is something bigger, and the same ways that when we do our individual work and we discover that voice within us that was holding us down or kind of making us feel pessimistic, then we can start to shift it. It works the same way on the collective scale. Things like when collectively we say war, it's just inevitable. And if you look at history supports that. It's always been, once we've had advanced human civilizations of any sort, war has been happening somewhere on this planet. And so it's easy to see the validation for it and then to perpetuate that. But that's like our collective voice that is doing the yeah buts. We can see a peaceful movement happen. And yeah, but, there's still war over here, and it never lasts. Yeah, but. But it's a shift that can happen when we are able to shift what Ernest Holmes calls the mental equivalent. We have to believe that there is a power greater than ourselves and believe in these things that are possible. Once I realized that I was still having doubts about this shift in consciousness, still having doubts that I would see, change in my lifetime, once I realized that, that was a moment of transformation for me. And it was just a couple years ago. So it was the culmination of so much spiritual work that made me realize, why don't I know this is possible? Why don't I think about it? And as soon as I did, then I created what Ernest Holmes calls that mental equivalent, holding an image in our mind of the way that we would like to see things and believing it's possible. And then we act in the world in ways that vibrate that other people can resonate with. We take it into our places of work, into our places of recreation, into our families, and we start to recognize we can look at things from a different angle. We can question that human beings are just violent by nature. It's survival of the fittest. We can question these things, and it begins in groups, so power in numbers. I'm not going to go deep into the Maharishi effect, but if you've never heard of the Maharishi effect, I strongly encourage you to Google it and just dive in there and see what's there. It started way back by the Maharishi Mahesh Yogi back in 1960. He had this idea that if enough people meditate together in like certain geographical areas, that you could have a demonstrable effect on crime levels, and even like a positive effect on other indicators of well-being. And there's been many tests since then. There's been many publications, peer-reviewed journals that have represented this, that there is a statistically significant effect that is outside the realm of coincidence, that just people holding it, and it's a small number that it takes to affect it. So that's why, I know I said it last week, I said it the week before, I gotta say it again this week. Thank you to everybody here. Thank you for being here. This is coming together. Like when Don said, where two or more are gathered, there's an energy there, and there is power there. And then back to that mystical part of the word and the power of the word, there is that collective consciousness that is happening, that occurs when we come together and just know that we can question the way things have been and start to visualize what it can be and start to believe. And through that, we really do create an energy that we go out into the world in this different state that says it's possible. And we can question ourselves when we find ourselves in disagreement. We can question how we respond to these. We can question the energy that we hold. So tomorrow is Martin Luther King Day. And several of us from here, we received a letter that invited us to come to downtown Fort Myers and participate in a walk to honor the life of MLK Jr. And he recommended, he said, if you want to get the most out of the day, read a letter from a Birmingham jail. And it's a powerful letter. It's very lengthy for a letter. He wrote it to fellow clergymen, and it was really asking people to step up, that this idea of just saying people supported him, but then didn't follow through on that it created that energy. Now, Martin Luther King knew, he listened to that internal song. He knew the power of words, and he had a dream. He had a dream, and he held to that. So I was just going to read from one other thing. This is not from the Birmingham jail, but this is from I Decided to Stick with Love. And this is where he talks about that love with the capital L. So this is the words of Martin Luther King Jr. And I say to you, I have also decided to stick with love, for I know that love is ultimately the only answer to humankind's problems. And I'm going to talk about it everywhere I go. I know it isn't popular to talk about love in some circles, and I'm not talking about emotional bosh when I talk about love. I'm talking about a strong, demanding love. For I have seen too much hate. And I say to myself that hate is too great a burden to bear. I have decided to love. So if you are seeking the highest good, I think you can find it through love. And the beautiful thing is that we aren't moving wrong when we do it, because John was right. God is love. Capital L with the big L. That's love. That God is love. So he who hates does not know God. But he who loves has the key that unlocks the door to the meaning of ultimate reality. And that's the end of the quote. When we recognize that big L, love, that is the nature of the universe. That is what it's all about. It's the only thing that matters. And everything else is to lead us back to it, but to know it for the first time. And so as we come together in these circles, like that is the power that we have. So as Jesus said, on this slide it says, ask and it shall be given to you, seek and you will find, knock and the door shall be opened. Now these are not hollow words. So this week, as we move forward, this is what I want to call us into, a call to action this week. And I'm still curious about last week's call to action. So if anybody wants to come tell me which of those 5 regrets or wishes that they focused on, I'd love to hear that. But this week, whole new assignment, new week, is to remember that we are part of this something bigger, that infinite, that life force that moves through us is the same life force that moves through one another. And so our call to action this week is to ask, and let's see what happens. So wherever you're at, if you're in a place right now where there's something in your life that just isn't exactly ideal, I have countless stories of people that have found themselves in a place of rock bottom or moving rapidly to rock bottom. And they have gotten to that place where they have dropped to their knees. I even have stories of people that believed wholeheartedly that there was nothing else out there, that we just, we're born, we die, and that's it. That still found themselves in such a place to where they're like, okay, if something's up there, show me, help me. I am at my wit's end. And things happen. So if that's where you're at this week, this is what I want you to do, is to focus and then just say, prove it to me. When we ask, we receive. Prove it to me, universe, and recognize that you are that. You're talking to yourself, and just say that and know that, and then let it go. And just know, I give myself over to this, whatever it is, I want you to prove it to me, and I let go. And truly let go and say, I will respond, I will take it however it comes, whatever it is that shows up in my life, and I will be with it, and I will be okay with it. And watch. We get through it. And I've seen it, when I've seen it happen, and when I've used it in my own life, it's amazing how quickly things happen. If you're in a place like that, I would like to encourage you to use a professional practitioner. We've got 9 here at the center that you can book a session with and spend some time. Let them use their consciousness to know for you that there is this thing greater than ourselves. And all it takes is just a willingness to believe, I am willing to see what happens if I give this a try. And now, if you're in a place right now where everything is going absolutely splendiferous, invite and ask that thing. Are you ready for your next iteration of your spiritual unfoldment? Go into prayer and go in with the expectation that Spirit will show itself to you. And ask and say, I am here. It's the same way that you would do it if you're looking to improve something, as if you're looking just to expand the good that's already in your life and play with it. When we're in that state, like we are prime and ready to play with this universal thing, that internal song that wants to sing through us. So it's our week right now. I want to hear next week, I want to hear people come in and tell me what they experienced, how they felt, what showed up. And then, as you do it every once in a while, think about the people that are on this journey with us, the people that are in this room, the people that are on the journey with you that don't even know they're on the journey, that person that gives you the unexpected smile at the grocery store, or that time that you see somebody that's just struggling to pick something up and you feel the inspiration to then share into that. And then we create that ripple effect of love that goes out through this world. I'm 100% certain that we are expanding the infinite light through each and every one of us, and it's all in the ways that we think and we feel, we believe, and then we act. We take action on it. So with that, let's just go ahead and take this into prayer and let this knowing that we are infinite beings, that each and every one of us is an individualized expression of the divine. So I know that there is no separation because it is all one. So as I speak these words, I invite you to look within. What is it that has gotten you through every challenge in your life up to this point? What is it that has inspired you to create the wonderful things in your life? And what is it that makes your lungs breathe and your heart beat? That is that thing that's within us, and it is constantly wishing to express in bigger and greater ways, and with the power of our minds and the power of our intention, and asking for it to express through us and becoming and allowing that ourselves to be that vessel. May that joy just ripple throughout each and every one. Connecting with the right persons, the right time, the right opportunities, the right group, focus on expansion. The intentions to create a more peaceful, loving household, neighborhood, city, state, region, hemisphere, and then all of planet Earth. Through that intention that comes through within, may that internal song inspire, and may each and every one of us hearing these words, whether here or at home or even just hearing it through that one infinite, interconnected mind of all consciousness, may that internal song find the external voice as we each get to step into who we are, unabashedly, unafraid, fully empowered to be our unique, individualized selves, that this is how the divine expresses through each and every one of us. And as we recognize it in others, we expand it in ourselves. As we recognize and savor it in nature and in man-made creations, in all the beauty that shows up in all the different ways. Every recognition and every inspiration creates. Abracadabra. So deepest gratitude for all that are here and everything that is said, and the law that takes our words and creates on our behalf. I just say thank you. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you for letting me be an infinite vessel for this light. And I release these words knowing that it is already done and that this world is brighter and brighter because of it. And so it is. So thank you, everybody. All right, now we're at the time of the service where we get to give back, where we get to put our energy in the form of currency where our hearts are. Knowing that as we give, the universe gives. As we give, we receive. And as the universe receives, we get to take joy in what we give and celebrate. So if the ushers will come forward. We have many ways to give, and we appreciate every bit of it to help support this cause. And may all that good come in continue to expand, creating this world. Thank you. So the ways to give. You can text the tithe, 239-320-3820. Once you do it the first time, then your information's set up, and it's very easy after that. You can pay through PayPal, PayPal at cslcapecoral.org, or hit the donate button on our website, cslcapecoral.org. Very simple as well. Or you can go the old-fashioned way, which I still do, is just mailing a check to the center here at Center for Spiritual Living, Cape Coral, 406 Southeast 24th Avenue, Cape Coral, Florida, 33990. And you can visit smile@amazon.com and select us as your charity. It gives a little percentage of everything you spend through Amazon without charging you anything extra. So it's another way of being able to contribute, our time, treasure, talents in a way that works for everyone. So wherever you are, we appreciate every bit of your support through your energy, your consciousness, and your thoughts and your beliefs, and of course your financial support as well. All right, so the ushers will be coming around in just a minute. You can also place prayer requests if you filled one out in there. And the prayer requests will be distributed amongst the practitioner corps and the ministers, and we will hold that in consciousness throughout this week. Give it a try if you've never done it. There is power in belief. All right, so as we take that offering, we can share this affirmation together. We say, today, I know the activity of divine abundance is at work in my life and the life of the center. I give and receive generously as I live in the flow of bountiful good. All right. I believe we have some music. Thanks, God.
Standing as one in the presence of the power, standing where others have stood. Gladly we offer the gifts of our abundance, knowing the source of our standing as one in the presence of the power, standing where others have stood. Gladly we offer the gifts of our abundance, knowing the source of our
So just knowing all that is offered and all that is shared today expands and enriches this world, that this is all lifted up, multiplied, and divinely dispersed throughout this universe in greater and greater things. And so it is. Thank you. So thank you, Big Love Band. That was amazing. Thank you, Ralph, for being here. Thank you. Yeah, special treat. And I believe it's time for announcements. Thank you, Cassie. Oh, one more thing. Oh. Thank you, Don. I would have just gone right on, and it would have been another week before we passed these out. So, certificated classes, which this is when, for me, like my spiritual journey really began. Is when I first took my first class at Mile High, which we have a couple of people that went through Mile High as well. That there's something about it coming together in groups and in powers and studying the same thing together and sharing our insights, sharing our questions, and having a structured form to learn and then implement spiritual practices. So the classes that we offer here are truly a wonderful blessing. So we do have Essential Earnest Homes coming up starting January 25th. I encourage you, if you've never taken a class, to give it a try. And if you have, then I'm guessing you know how wonderful it is. Come give it this one a try. It's some of Ernest Holmes, like, there's some special spiritual practices in there. It's really a wonderful class. So I encourage anybody and everybody to really give that a consideration. And it's kind of like an introductory thing. Like, we're doing it at a rate that we are trying to make it available to many, many people. So come talk to us. There is options to sign up. Now, these are people that have been doing their work, and it's time to get their certificate from home office. So I have not seen her this morning. I saw her yesterday, Melissa Arterberry. She's in the other room? Okay, we'll get that to her in a moment. Okay, and then as you come up, and I'll read like what classes, and then if you would, please just go ahead and stand here. We'll hold applause until everybody's here, and then we'll hoot and holler and celebrate everybody that has done their amazing work for this world. So next up is Patty Carney for Revealing Wholeness. Thank you. And then Cindy Colin. I do not know Cindy, and not here right now. Okay, so we'll hold on to that. And then holding high watch right now, so we'll give him his later, is John Coriel for Revealing Wholeness. And then up next is the birthday girl, Beatrice Dore, for Revealing Wholeness. That's okay. You were moving fast last night, so a lot of dancing. And then another one that I'm not familiar with, so I'm not sure if she's here, Rita Mace. Okay. And then Phyllis McCormick. Okay. For Revealing Wholeness. Thank you. Melissa Tuff was back with youngsters today, which is pretty cool to see some youngsters coming in today. So she took Revealing Wholeness. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, there's Melissa. We've got a certificate for you. Revealing Wholeness. Oh, no, earlier I said Arterberry. This one's Melissa Tuff. And I know you're tough. Absolutely. Thank you. And then Randall Wing for Spiritual Principles and Practices. Thank you, Randy. And then Cheryl Leesburg. Not here today. Okay. Well, Cheryl is in practitioner training, so she has done all the prerequisite classes. To be in practitioner training, there's 6 classes you have to take beforehand. And so she has 4 certificates here or some of them were kind of backdated for the work that she has done. But she has done Meditation is More Than You Think, Building a Healing Consciousness, Spiritual Principles and Practices, and Revealing Wholeness. So Cheryl has done. I will give those to her. Excellent. Thank you for doing that. So let's give everybody a round of applause for the amazing work that they're doing. It starts within and then ripples out. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, Don, for keeping me on track. I appreciate that.
Talk about one mind. We did not coordinate our colors today, but look at this. Right? Pretty good. Like, hey, which one are you wearing? Okay. Yeah, I've got coral in my closet too. All right, perfect. It's a good color. It's a good color. All right, so as we've said already a couple of times, you can check your email, pick up flyers in the lobby, check out the website, all those different things, or talk to somebody here that looks like they know something. Don't talk to me, I don't know anything, just kidding. And we will tell you about what's coming up here. And so today, after service, we are having our potluck luncheon. So that happens every single month. And if you didn't know we were having that or forgot, you're welcome to stay. We usually have plenty of food for everybody. It's a good place to share and chat. And so as what was also already stated, we've got our Essential Ernest Holmes coming up. That was actually one of the last classes I took before practitioner studies and probably one of my favorites. So that's going to be Wednesday, I think they said the 25th. Okay. So that's not this Wednesday. That's actually 2 Wednesdays from now. So the 25th, not this Wednesday, 7 to 9:30. This is the textbook you're going to want for that. And I believe Teresa got a couple used copies, and they're out in the bookstore for a love donation if you'd like to spend a little less than what it would be full price if you bought that. So you've got that as well. So the MLK March, that is tomorrow if you are available. That is, let's see, what time? 9 a.m., no later than 9 a.m. meeting here, and then we're going to caravan and carpool to location 3095 Blount Street. So that should be a lot of fun. I've never done it here, but I've done the big Denver March. Have you ever done the Denver March? Oh, it's huge. It's huge. Did you want to say something about that?
I was just going to say, if you can't make it here by the time the march starts moving at 10 o'clock downtown, so you could come, like a quarter till or whatever, maybe 9:30 downtown and find us there too. I'm
Perfect.
coming there because I'm not going to come all the way across and then all the way back.
Perfect,
I'll
perfect.
be meeting the caravan down there.
So you've got options. And everybody knows who Melissa Tuff is by now, so you can chat with her if you want to coordinate, make sure that you're in on that. And we're going to have a gratitude gathering. So join us on Tuesday, January 24th. So that's in 2 Tuesdays from now, 5 to 8 p.m., as we gather to just say thank you to Reverend Gregory, who's been spending a year and a half with us as we were in that search for a new minister. So we didn't want to just kick him out and say, okay, thanks for being with us. And now we've got Chris. We want to really embrace him and let him know how grateful we are for him. So please consider joining us that evening. Mindful Moments Meditation with Karen. Ooh, this sounds fun. So join us on Zoom every Thursday evening from 6 to 7 for that meditation, $5 love donation. And, I love the spiritual cinema time. So Friday, February 10th is our next one from 7 to 9. You can join us for cinema night. And we usually hang out and we put the movie right there on the screen and everybody just kind of sits and eats popcorn, $5 love donation. And there's usually a nice conversation that comes up off of that movie too. Do we know what the movie is yet? To be determined still. Okay. It's always a good one. Midweek tune-up happens every Wednesday from noon to 1:30 in the lobby, or if it's freezing, or outside. If it's freezing, we'll be inside. If it's freezing, we'll be outside. Anyway, wherever we are, it happens every Wednesday, noon to 1:30. And again, like was already stated, you can come up here after service and get a 1-minute miracle, aka a little prayer, with one of the practitioners, somebody wearing one of these right up front after service. And I just hope everybody has a wonderful week, and let's just stand up and jam out with the Big Love Band.
Oh, hey. Hi, Griffin. There's the youth. At the potluck today, we're also having an informal community meeting as well. So it's, your opportunity to ask any questions of me, if there's anything that you want to know about direction, and a brief tune-up. So other than that, yes, let's go ahead and celebrate out. So thank you.
I heard you guys playing Jenga in there.
Nice.
This little light of mine. We can get started. I know the first one.
Yeah, fired up. Let's do it. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Therefore, living in fear, we're gonna let it shine. No more living in fear, we're gonna let it shine.